here while everybody gets in here.
It's fun to see this side of things, as I'm always chained to a wall in a dungeon.
Yeah.
And I never got to see it.
There we go. Nice. Okay. So we got some people coming in. Welcome, guys. Happy Wednesday. Yes. I see you guys are in here. All right, cool. I was just getting up, set up over here on my end. Sorry about that, but I think we're ready to go now. So yeah, welcome to another Ninja Lab. As you can see, I have a co-pilot with me today because this is Jesus.
Howdy.
How do you say your last name? Actually, I never.
No.
Yeah, I've been. How many years we've been working together? I always just skip the last name.
Almost 2 years.
With names now.
Yeah, it's Revezo.
Revezo.
Yeah.
Revezo.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Jesus is our expert email marketer for AGM. He handles Manuel's emails directly and helps with Damon John's VIP's accounts and stuff like that. So today we're going to be talking about intro to email marketing and setting up your Clavio account. Go ahead and bring up the slides so we can get on the same page. So, right. You should be able to see my screen, right, guys? Just let me know really quick. I'm doing it a little bit different today. Second. That's the tiniest thing ever. Yes, you can see it. I'm doing it good. All right. Sorry about that. Let me go back to it and then we'll get going. All right, guys. So today we're going to be talking about intro to email marketing and setting up your Clavio account, like I said. So obviously I thought it was a great idea to bring in Jesus here and just give us any kind of tips and tricks and pointers or anything like that that you can share with everybody when it comes to email marketing. And then I'll take it from there because I think he has to run to another meeting after that, or if you want to stick around, we can do that too. Okay. But
right on.
Cool. So first off, guys, like we always do, starting off with latest updates. Now, this particular week, I don't have any updates for you, but I wanted to remind you that, of course, everybody by now knows about the Apple iOS 14, updates.
Ooh.
Yes, the big boo and how that's affecting all of us, right? But we're getting through it. We're figuring it out. We've shown you guys some ninja stuff, but I don't know if you know about the iOS 15 updates. So this is yet another update that they're coming out with. Being in this, field and full time, like what do you know about this and what can you share with them?
Well, they say it's all about privacy.
Okay.
I know that. But really, I think it's possibly their way of working around so they can structure their own thing. But regardless, how does this affect us with the iOS 15 and the emails? Essentially, the two of the things that we really have to be concerned about, or that we have to work around now, is Apple's systems are going to hide the email open rates. We won't be able to tell who's opening the emails anymore, and it can also mask the IP addresses.
So it's like very similar to the iOS 14 for the ad side, but now they're bringing it over to the email side of things.
Exactly. So
Boo.
You will never, you're not going to be able to just simply rely on like open rates as a metric anymore. We're going to have to get a little bit, more sophisticated, a little more ninja.
Exactly.
Shall we say?
You're gonna have to get in the lab with us here and learn all the ninja tactics.
Yeah, and you know what? There's going to be a lot of experimentation as well. As everything rolls out, and here we experiment with things to see what works best. Same with other industry leaders. So we're going to have to see what's going to be working the best. But I do have a couple of tips that you can start working with now.
Okay.
And that is to, instead of focusing on the open rates as a main metric, start looking at the click-through rate of the email.
Okay.
So that's one thing, because if it's clicked, clearly they opened it.
Right.
We don't have to worry about that part anymore. Two, your message was good because they were compelled to get to the part where it's a button or a link and they actually took the action. So click-through rate really shows a much more higher engaged person than any of the others.
That's actually pretty interesting, guys, because that's the same thing I talk about also when it comes to the ads, because once they click out of Facebook and they go to your website or your funnel or whatever, right? Like we already know, we're losing about 50% of the tracking, 50% of the people with iOS 14. So what I teach all the time, and I think we talked about it 2 weeks ago, and that is when you're reading the ads manager, you're looking at click-through rates, because that is accurate. That's happening on Facebook.
Right.
So the same thing over here. It's like we can still track the click-through rates. We just can't track 100%. And when this fully rolls out, because by the way, it hasn't fully roll out yet. Same thing with iOS 14. You know how they rolled it out slowly, right, but surely. So iOS 15, it started now pretty much, but it's going to continue for the next, I don't know, 6 to 12 months or so. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So click-through rates is the very first thing that you're telling them to focus on.
Right. Definitely get the click-through rates. The second thing we're going to talk about with it is email is one of the best places to build the relationship with your prospects and your customers. And it gives you a great avenue for storytelling and sharing your message, sharing your own history and things like that, aside from just making an offer of buy the stuff. Now, of course, we do want to offer buy the stuff as much as possible, but too much
marketers,
also, you know,
we got to sell.
Yeah. So a great way to help build that relationship and to keep deliverability good is ask for people to reply to your email. You know, you may have seen before things say, oh, you know, whitelist our emails so that you do. Does anybody know how to whitelist an email?
No,
I don't.
Yeah. So you can't expect your customer to know that either.
So like the simplest explanation I think of that is, please put our email address in your address book.
Right.
That's one thing. And that's good. When you reply to the email, or when you get your customers, your clients, your prospects to reply to the email, that helps tell the email clients, which are, you know, Gmail and Yahoo and things like that.
Right.
That verifies to the email client that, hey, this is a person or a company that our customer wants to hear from. So
yes, that's a very, very good tip. So do you have any tips on how to get them to reply? Like, you know, any specific questions or anything like that? Or I guess it kind of depends. No?
Yeah, it's going to depend on what you're talking about in the email. And really it's the same concept. If you're doing organic posting on your social media or even in your ads, is you kind of lay out. Here's a great way. You start with a question or a statistic, tell a little bit of a story about it, maybe how it's impacted your life, or, you know, how it's impacted lives of other people that are similar to your customer, and then ask people what they think about it.
Right. Pretty simple.
Tell them, hey, hit reply to this email. Tell me blah, 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 what you think about this thing.
Right.
And then you can carry on from there.
Cool.
Yep.
Anything else?
Yeah. The last one I have for you is, and this is good again to start now, is clean up the list. Okay. So go through your email service provider, go through your system and find clients who have not been engaged, not been opening, not clicking. Now, whether you want to do it at 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, a year, that part is up to you. But the how do I want to say it? The cleaner you can keep the list. So almost the more aggressive. If nobody's opened or clicked anything in 30 days, you might want to think about trying to catch them with a re-engagement campaign, which I know we'll say something about here in a little bit. You want to try to do something to re-interest them in why they originally came to you for a solution.
Right. Yeah, cool. And then we got other ninja tactics too. Like you can upload the list to Facebook and retarget them and try to engage them that way again, and just kind of keep your brand top of mind.
You know what? Let me say one other thing about the list cleanup aspect. It impacts the deliverability of your emails.
Yep.
Right. So if you've got a ton of addresses on there that you're sending emails to all the time, but they're not opening, or maybe they're closed accounts and they're hard bouncing and things like this, at some point, those Gmails and Yahoos and Apples are going to look at you and say, this company doesn't know what they're doing with their list, and they're going to suppress your stuff even more.
So like if you had 100,000 emails you're sending out and you don't do the cleaning or the segmentation, I mean, you can say it different ways, but basically you're not separating the people that are not actively engaged. So you send 100,000 out. Let's just, for easy math, because I'm not good at math. I hate it when I bring up math in these things because I'm so bad at it. But anyways.
Isn't that your job though, math?
Yeah, I am a mathematician.
Right, you know.
So 100,000, 50,000, let's say, are bad, not engaged people. If you were to just take out the other 50,000 and send those, engaged people an email, you're going to get a way higher open rate, click-through rates, and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So that signals to your email service provider that you're doing a better job.
Yeah.
So just kind of saying what you said, but like in a different way.
Well,
so if you send it out to 100,000, and even if the same all 50,000 opened it, that's only 50% that opened it and delivered and engaged and stuff like that. So it messes with your stats.
Yeah. And I'm curious to see how the new iOS 15, if the suppression of open rates is really going to be super affected, how is that going to affect our relationship as a business with our email service provider? Because I know we've gotten emails here. So we use in Keep, which used to be Infusionsoft. And every once in a while, they'll send me an email and say they've temporarily suspended our ability to broadcast emails because they think our open rates over a certain time frame are not even too low, but lower than industry standards. So where they're pulling the industry standards from, it's going to depend. And if this is going to suppress the open rates even more, this could possibly just open up more headache conversations with the email service providers.
Yep.
So
I mean, today we're going to be talking about basically the different kinds of emails you can set up and how, I'll show you guys examples of how we do it, how we use them, what they look like, things like that. And then if you have any questions, like I say every time, guys, like put it into the chat so we can discuss it with like your specific viewpoint, and we'll help you figure things out, because that's what we're here for. We want to work together so that as we're figuring things out, we're sharing them with you guys. So, we want to help you and your business out. So, in case you didn't know, I mean, in the last year, we have talked about how like the explosion of e-commerce, because everybody's shopping online because of COVID and things like that. Well, along with that comes a lot of email marketing and email follow-ups and things like that. And just people are just way more used to, interacting with emails and stuff, but also the volume has increased by 45% just in the last year, which is kind of like, and also, with the iOS 14 changes and things like that, people are trying, companies like us, right? We're trying different things, and email is one of them.
Yeah.
It's going to be very, very key moving forward. That's why I wanted to do this training. So, like Jesus was saying, it's just it's a way for you to communicate with your customer. You can tell them your stories. You can provide reviews or how-tos, or maybe provide some value like a recipe, or I mean, there's tons of different ways you can provide value depending on what is your business.
There's an interesting philosophy that some people have. I think I would tend to agree with it, is that all the pay for play things, right? So any paid advertising, the whole purpose of it is to get people on your email list,
right?
Or your SMS list or subscriber list, or whatever it is. You leverage the paid stuff to get them inside. And Manuel talks about this all the time with, what's it called? It's got a special name for the general list. I can't think of it off the top of my head now. Anyway, it's your general list of all your all the people.
Your central files.
The central files. Yeah, that's his word for it.
Yeah.
So your point of the paid advertising is to get people into your central files. And then you can communicate with them whenever you want, however you want.
Yeah, because you control it at that point.
Right.
You can say, I want to send out. Yeah, I mean, you're only going to maybe get industry average back to that, right? 20, 30% if you're good, right? Out of 100, you're only going to get 20, 30% to open it. So fine, you're not going to communicate with everybody, but that's the whole point. Like, you got to grow your list,
right?
And then you can communicate to them whenever you want about whatever you want. That's another thing. It's like you're not really limited to like these Facebook policies and getting your ads flagged and your whole ad account flagged and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's the best way for you to control the communication, control your business, really, because obviously, like we're seeing right now, things change with Facebook marketing, or the next one could be TikTok marketing, let's say. I mean, that's the next thing that's coming up, and things are already changing there as far as cost is concerned. It's like everybody's jumping on it. So that happens every time.
Yeah.
SEO, Google PPC, Facebook marketing, now it's TikTok and things like that. So again, the main fundamental thing here is that we want to grow our lists because we want to be able to communicate to them whenever we want about whatever we want. On that, like what I was saying, there is different types of email marketing that we're going to focus on in today's session. We're going to talk about welcome emails. So this is kind of like when somebody first comes into your world, there's different ways that that can happen, and depending on, you know, if you offer services or you sell physical products or whatever, right? But in general, you want to welcome everybody into your world, and you want to do it in a way that it's gonna get them to open up the emails and engage with you. And like Jesus's tip about getting them to reply on these first couple of emails is going to be key.
Yeah.
So you got a welcome email, welcome series or sequence of emails like that. We have email newsletters. So this is super typical. This is, I think, like how email marketing probably started, right?
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, email newsletters are usually weekly or maybe monthly, something like that. And you're just keeping people kind of like in the loop. It's like a general newspaper type thing, no?
It is. And I tend to think of personally the term newsletter to me sounds more like a weekly or monthly thing, but it's kind of also a catch-all word for a regular broadcast. So,
okay.
You know, we send out daily stuff, we send out monthly stuff, we send out weekly stuff. So depending on which one of our lists you're on, you're getting it daily, weekly, or monthly.
Yeah, so. Exactly. I'm curious, actually, if you guys want to comment, like, do you get our emails that Manuel sends out to you? I know you should be getting the Ninja Lab ones, that's for sure. But do you guys also get our other emails that we send out if there's any kind of like new content that Manuel puts out? Or just like, you know, like today he's speaking at Traffic and Conversions Summit. So we sent that out, I think.
I've sent a couple emails about that over the last few weeks.
Yeah, exactly. So let me see. A couple of you guys say yes. Oh, and Shung's asking, can we get a lesson on email autoresponder and what to do? So the autoresponder, I mean, do you mean like a sequence of emails? Or
it's a good question.
I'm not sure what you mean by autoresponder there.
If you're talking about how to kind of create what you want to put in the autoresponder, or how the actual function of the autoresponder works. I mean, both are a great question.
Yep.
So,
and then another part of that, somebody else was asking, do we use Infusionsoft or ActiveCampaign for our AGM and all emails? We use Infusionsoft, which is now Keep.
Yeah.
So, but today I'm going to be showing you guys both that and Clavio as well.
I tell you what, so I've been with AGM just about 2 years doing all this. And really I was, you know, email deliverability and working with Infusionsoft was not something I did until I got here. I learned because I had to.
Like you're good at copywriting, right? And then you know what to say, but the whole like techie part of it and the technical,
that was all new.
And you got to learn that as you just, you know, as you practice and stuff like that. But we're going to keep it super simple, and we're just going to show you guys like what kind of emails to send out, which is actually one of the questions I'm getting here, like what to send, how to do it. So welcome emails, we got email newsletters, we got transactional emails. This applies a lot to the Shopify stores, and Clavio in itself is super ninja. That's why I wanted to pick that one. We used to use MailChimp, Aweber, even Constant Contact and things like that. But since Clavio married up with Shopify, that's been our go-to one. It's just super ninja. I love it.
It's a great combination.
I love it. I wish they did a little bit more of like not so much e-commerce, like kind of like what Keep does, because it's super easy to use. If you know how to use ManyChat, which we've taught you guys so many times, and you're familiar with flows and things like that, then you would love Clavio too. It's like email marketing, like just building out flows like that. So anyways, transactional emails, that would be for like if somebody purchases something, or if they didn't purchase something in a while, you can re-engage them like we were talking about earlier. If they did purchase something, but you want to offer them an upsell, all of those kind of transactional emails. So they did something to trigger it, right? And then behavioral emails. So we'll go over all these in some examples. So let's start off with welcome emails. So did you write this one by any chance?
This one, if I did anything, I may have edited it and reworded a couple things. They had this set up, but I did a lot of work on Damon John's
tweaking and optimizing things.
So
like going back to what we were saying earlier, welcome email it's a way to introduce your brand, introduce your story to them, and you're getting, you know, you're giving them value, but at the same time, it's more about like branding and connecting with you or your brand, depending on how you set things up. Which, by the way, there should always be a person that people can relate to for your brand. That's something that we're moving way more into in our agency, because we have clients that don't have a face to the brand, but I'm implementing that more and more into the strategies.
Yeah.
I heard a good analogy the other day that it said everybody needs a flow like to their brand, like Progressive has that girl Flo.
Oh yeah.
You know, she is the face pretty much.
She is,
so,
but you can also have a gecko.
You can have a gecko, you can have a Chris Paul for your State Farm, or a Manuel for your Manuel. I don't know.
There you go. Yeah.
A Manuel for your AGM. No, so
what's cool, and this just hit me as I was looking at this email here, is this welcome email does two things. It starts the welcome to make you feel like, hey, okay, I'm in the fold now. I'm part of the family. But to get the full welcome message, you got to click the link to watch the video.
Right.
Which means there's your click-through rate.
Exactly.
So not a bad thing.
So, and the way this was designed is this just is a thumbnail, right? So if they click on it, then they go to, I forget if it goes to Wistia or YouTube. I mean, you guys can set it up however you want. It can go to a Facebook video. It can go to a YouTube video, a landing page, and there's your video with more explanation about whatever.
Right.
So the point is that you can add an image, you hyperlink it, and then you get your click-through rate. So it signals the good, something's good is happening inside your emails, and then people are engaged.
Yeah.
So,
this one there's actually two more pictures, I think, that go along with this. This is the first of the welcome sequence that we use currently for Manuel stuff. And again, instead of the video, I wrote this a while back, so it's heavy on copy, but again, there's links in it talking about, join us on Facebook and Instagram. So you're giving the people, now that you've come into the world, now that you've said yes, that you like something that we're doing, which is why you opted in. Now here's the other places that you can keep up with us. And I deliver value on all these things. So you give the people ways to stay in contact with you.
Yep. And then we provide our email here. And so everybody can, reply to the email as well. Right. And again, there goes the whitelisting, the engagement, the open rates in the future, and things like that. So,
yeah. And if you look at the bottom of this one, in the PS, we actually talk about, hey, in tomorrow's email, we're going to talk about this. Look for a subject line, da, 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 da. And so that way it sets the person up going, oh, I got to check out tomorrow's email.
Yeah, I think that's really important, especially for these welcome email guys, that you want to like have that open loop and give them a reason to open up the one that, that's coming up, either if that's tomorrow or 2 days or whatever it is that you set up. Which, by the way, if in a welcome series like this, we always recommend that you email them daily, like at least for 3 days, something like that.
Yeah.
Because if you add too much time in between, then it just kind of like introduces a lot of just like dead air, I guess is the word. Or
it's a new relationship, right?
Yeah.
And so if you've been through a new relationship, if you're anything like me, you've been through a new relationship at some point in your life, right? And when you first get together with somebody, you have that infatuation phase.
Yeah.
Everything is super exciting. Like, oh, I can't wait to hear from this person again. You're texting, you're calling, you're emailing all the time, and if you stay long enough, it depends on how you nurture the relationship, as to whether or not that type of communication stays strong or not. So this is the exact same thing. It's just, different benefits.
Right. We did a really good welcome series with Dr. Berg too, Manuel. If you've been engaging with Dr. Berg's bot, if maybe you remember, and if you haven't engaged with it, go and get started in there again, and you'll see the first things that we send out to you. And it's Dr. Berg's story, and we include some images of when he was younger and even when he was a kid and things like that, because we're telling the story of
kid Dr. Berg.
Yeah, kid Dr. Berg. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. It's good. Just join his messenger bot and you'll get put on that welcome email series. But it is super engaging, and it's very, very effective because you just make that connection with Dr. Berg so much, and then of course you just start binge watching his videos, and then we sell you over and over. Yeah. Okay, cool. So the next one that we'll talk about is the newsletters. So this is also Jesus setting all these up. So I'll let you, talk about these. But, this is how often do we send this one out?
This is one of the dailies.
Dailies. Okay.
Yeah. So like I said, we have the daily email and then the weekly, really the weekly and the monthly I put together by curating information from the daily emails.
Okay.
So if you're on one of the weekly or the monthly, clearly you're not getting the daily. And if you are, it's actually a mistake in the automation. So let me know. But usually in the weeklies and the monthly, you only get a few of the items, right? So the dailies get 7 days worth of content, which is tips and different values and different pieces of content that Manuel's putting out.
It's all value.
Yeah.
So you ever ask for like a sale or anything?
Occasionally, well, that's what I'm gonna say. Sometimes, and this is, everybody's got their own philosophy, but one way you can do it, which is pretty good, is you can say, let's say once a week, and you can ask for a sale or at least make an offer.
Yeah.
Some people will make an offer every day, and that's totally fine. It depends on you and your relationship and the clients that you have and what type of business it is.
Right.
So there's always room for an offer.
But for the most part, we do recommend, just keep it to value, keep it to relationship building when it comes to the newsletter part of things.
Yeah.
And then one thing that we do well is that we try to include you see the image there. It's and this is not the whole email. I couldn't fit the whole thing in here, but we include an image there that looks just very organic. It kind of looks like somebody would text you like an image like that. It's not super, Photoshop type of graphic.
Yeah.
There it is, the rest of it.
I tell you guys want one of the secrets of email marketing.
Actually, who wants the secret?
Does anybody want one of the secrets of email marketing? We're not going to tell you unless we get some yeses or Venmos.
Venmos. Let's do Venmos. Cash App. No, okay, go ahead.
All right. One of the secrets is just to write to your friends. Okay. So your list are friends of yours. So talk to them like your friends.
Yeah. That's a good tip. Yep.
If you write things, you're like, good morning, fellow citizen. How are you today? Look, man, everybody knows that's not real. So the more real that you can be, the easier it is to consume. So that's the big secret. And that's one of the big secrets.
Yep. So that's one secret. Another thing that Jesus is doing really well here, like I said, that image, but then also notice the spacing and the amount of text for each section, I guess we'll call it. But it's not like a whole wall of text, not like a big long, email paragraph, just one paragraph type of thing. So do you have a way that you like to break that up? Like, is it a visual thing or is it a copywriting thing?
It's a little both.
Okay.
I try not to go, as far as the copywriting part is, keep the sentences short and keep the paragraphs short. Like ideally don't go more than at maximum 3. I'm not even gonna say 3, maximum 2. Don't go more than 2 sentences without some space.
Good.
And then
so that's what I teach also for the ads, which is when you're doing the ad copy, you don't, and look at it on mobile view, because that's most of the people that convert and interact it's the mobile. If you go and you break down your data, it'll be that way.
Yeah.
But so when you design it, I only design it for 2 lines at a time on mobile view.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It's way easier to read.
And part of that is, let's say it this way. So it takes energy to concentrate, right? So if you get a piece of information and it's this huge block of text that looks like an entire wall, man, nobody wants to read that.
Yeah.
How many times have you sat down with a legal document for recreational reading? Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah.
Lawyers don't want to do that. Give some space. It helps it reduces the amount of energy and concentration power that it takes to read the email, which I personally think will help some of the comprehension.
Yep.
And it's easier on the eyes.
Yeah, exactly. So then back to increasing the engagement and the replies and then everything else. Everything works together like that. And then another one, let me see if I can.
I was frozen.
I think so. Here we go. All right. And so here's another thing that you can include into your newsletters. And that is the same thing that we were talking about earlier, which is, creating that connection with the brand. it doesn't always necessarily have to be only, business. So you open up your world to them, your personal world or whatever, right? Like in this case, we went to the Cowboys game, season opener. They were playing the Bucks here. And right away, Jesus is like, yep, I'm going to take that. I'm going to share with people. But then we blend it in with some value as well at the end. But we start off with like, hey, this is what I was doing. And this is kind of like what I don't know, just like letting you into Manuel's world, right?
Yeah. So the skill of it is, here's the thing. Like if you're writing something, you don't have to be a quote writer, right? But if you ever feel as though you have writer's block, or you're like, I don't know what to write about in my emails, pick an event that happened to you recently and talk about it.
Yep.
You could almost think about it like water cooler talk.
Yeah.
Just the way you'd gather around the water cooler or the coffee machine at work and just, hey, did you see that show last night? And you're like, oh man, it was crazy. And you're like, hey, did you know this is how it ties into my super cool offer?
Yeah, exactly.
That's all. There you go. You're done. Perfect.
I think any situation can really tie back into whatever you have going on in your business. So it's just the way there's several reasons for you to share this, right? So it connects you with the brand or the person, the face of the brand, and it connects you to like it gives you just more copy that you can send out, more reasons to communicate, and then it also just connects. You can connect that to your offer. So I think this one was awesome. Do you have any? I forgot to include the stats on this one. Do you have?
I don't off the top of my head. This one actually, I think, was higher than the whole prior week.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it makes sense, because it's just like super real. It's like you're talking to your friends with this. So, all right. Let me see if I'm not missing anything here. So Carly says, one of the best tips I ever got in sales, talk to your customers like you talk to a friend or family. That's right. All right, guys. So let's move on to the next section, which is transactional emails. So this is the Clavio part of things for the most part. When I talk about transactional emails, it's really having to do with the e-commerce more than anything. So these right here are examples from Natural Slim. That's Manuel's brand, and that's Manuel's dad right there. You can see. And so this one is for people that
I can see it says,
this
thank you at the top.
Yeah, it's kind of tiny over here, but so exactly, this is the thank you email after they purchase the one on the left is the Cantiseptic kit. And then you'll see here in the middle, we have an image of Frank, and the red button says that you can watch a video. So we're upselling, or we're at least offering the next thing that you should be getting after this. We're not, we're still thanking them. So it's kind of like a receipt that you just bought this, and it doesn't show up fully because it's just a preview, but it will have usually like the price that you paid and things like that in Clavio. And I'm gonna show you guys how to set this up, by the way. But then we offer them, our number one product that we have the most ROI with, which is, we call it the personal program, like a $300 offer. So then right then and there, they can go and purchase if they want, or they can come back to this email. But then you see it's just a template. So we kind of do the same thing for every product. We just customize the image at the top. This one's for the Magic Mag. This one on the right. So again, thank you for ordering Magic Mag. By the way, your next thing you should get is this personal program. That's what everybody has the most success with, or whatever.
Yeah, emails like this are a great place to say, hey, now that you got that, it's great. First of all, you always reaffirm that the person made a good decision. That whether it's on a thank you page on the website or whether it's in the emails, it's always great to be like, hey, congratulations, you got the thing. It was a great idea because of X, Y, and Z. Can't wait till you get your hands on this. By the way, if you want even more of the same or faster results or whatever it is, you might want to check out this.
Exactly. Okay, so here is another type of email, transactional email. This is for people that abandon the carts. I mean, this is super typical. Everybody should know what I'm talking about here when it comes to your Shopify stores. If they abandon the cart, and we want to follow up with them, but we didn't want to do like just a standard, very generic looking type of email. So we're customizing these for every product that they abandon the cart with. Now, sometimes it happens that they have several products. So we just went with the one that's most expensive. Then that's the image that shows up at the top. So you can see what I was talking about with the mini chat thing. This is inside Clavio. You'll see when you set things up, it looks like a flow like this. So it's like a yes or no, what they call like binary type of flow or tree. So if this happens, then go this way. If it doesn't, then don't do anything. So we have 3 emails that we set up as a abandoned cart. This, you're seeing the first one right here. So it says, "Oh no, AGM, come back and finalize your candy septic, your purchase of your candy septic kit." And then it's kind of a little bit long. Like I didn't just say, "Come back and here's a button and come purchase." So what this whole text in the middle basically is, we took it from the sales page and we're reaffirming and repositioning and presenting all the benefits of the offer of the candy septic kit. And like kind of like this green image right here is basically what kind of symptoms you have. And if you have these symptoms, then you should get this kit to handle it or whatever.
It'd be great to, if you have any testimonials you could use in an email like this as well.
Very true. And we do actually do that in the second email. And we even split tested. It's kind of hard to see here, but there is 2 different variations. So we're split testing to see which one works best. Now, so we kind of turned this first email right here into maybe like a mini sales page even, but it's an abandoned cart email. And then down under this green image here, we inserted the GIF. This is something that I'll tell you guys is a hot tip. If you haven't tried GIFs in your emails, it works super, super good. So all we did here is we put each individual item of the kit, and we just, as you can see, it's just animated to tell you what's included in the kit. So that could be, if you sell, like, let's say a physical product, like I don't know, let's say like this thing here. I can't. Let's say you use
those sunglasses, or
let's say you guys sell this tripod or whatever. What I would do is I would take a video of maybe you placing a phone on here and kind of how you would use it to maybe do your videos and things like that, right? And then you could take that video and create a GIF. It's super easy if you go to Giphy.com. You just type in the URL of your video, and then it actually creates a GIF for you. It's super easy.
Yeah.
If you don't, if you're not comfortable with like making a GIF like this.
Well, in fact, I just did this the other day. I don't know what ways really to make a GIF, right? Like, I don't know if I use Canva or Photoshop or whatever. Yeah. So I just did that. First of all, I went on the interwebs and I Googled up GIF.
How to make a GIF.
How to make a GIF on a Mac. And it gave me a couple of suggestions. And the one thing was screen recording, take the screen recording, put it in Giphy, and then you can download it. And
there you go.
Boom. That's what I did. So
yeah, it's super easy. I love Giphy.
Yeah.
GIFY,
I think, isn't it?
No.
Oh, is it PH?
Yeah, phy.com. Okay, yeah. So
do that.
Okay, so I wanted to show you, and I know I haven't shown you like how to set this up or whatever. We're gonna go through and walk you through like how to set up your Clavio account. I just want to show you at least what's possible with some of this stuff that we're talking today. So here's the analytics from this flow. You can see it's actually a new flow that I just started testing out. We used to have a little bit more generic style type of abandoned car where it was like just kind of, hey, you forgot this, here's an image, here's a button, go back, get it. And then that was it.
Yeah.
And it was working fine. But when we started implementing this, I've seen a lot higher click-through rates and things like that. So it's fairly new, but you can see email number 1 recovered $194. Email number 2 recovered some money. Email number 3 recovered some money as well. So if your first email is not working, just keep adding more to it. I mean, I would say from 3 to 5 different emails is a good amount of emails you can do for abandoned carts, and just switch it up. Like sure. Jesus was suggesting, you could do, one email could be reviews. Another email could be like the benefits. Another email could be maybe a demo video, depending on what you sell.
Right.
So,
and the timing of them is going to be, again, dependent upon who you are or your relationship with them. I mean, I would say the first one probably should come out within the first hour or 2. If not sooner.
So the first one you can see here, it's 30 minutes later. And
Sounds
then
good.
The second one is 1 day. Man, this is tiny over here on our end, guys. But you can see it here on the slide. So we do space them out, but not too far out either. So
because you don't want to send it a week later and be like, what is this? I didn't buy anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
By that time they forgot. In fact, we kind of marry this or in conjunction with SMS. We're actually more aggressive with SMS. So we're going to do another training for SMS marketing with you guys at some point. But
yeah, I was just going to ask if there was a text message component to this.
Mhm.
I didn't know if it was within Clavio or if it's a separate software.
When we started this particular store, guys, we started with SMS Bump.
Okay.
So we've been focused on that, using that app for our SMS marketing.
Right.
But Clavio does use SMS now. They didn't have that when we started. That's the thing.
Right on.
But now they do. So we we don't want to switch all the flows just yet, but I think we are heading in that direction because Clavio is super smart in that way that they'll know if you purchase something. Oh, they'll know also if you didn't open the email. Okay, fine. Send them a text message.
Right.
You can be less spammy that way, I guess. But hey, it's working for us right now. We're aggressive with SMS, and then I'm showing you what we're doing with the email marketing, and it's working. So that's what we recommend. Here's another form of a transactional type of email you can trigger when somebody purchases a certain item. You can set it up so that you send them an email to offer them another item that's complimentary. So like in this particular case, this is what the email looks like. So we're offering the 4-piece, kitchen item here. And then this is the bottom half of it is we're including some reviews. So that's another hot tip like we've been talking about. You don't have to have the reviews in a separate email. You can put them all together too.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if it's if you put it all together and you think it's a little bit long, it's fine. If it's kind of like a sales page, like
yes,
you need to add a lot of information until you don't, I guess. Like,
right.
You add in buttons along the way, and if people are convinced, they're going to click the button and they're going to go purchase.
That's a great point about the buttons along the way. The argument, long copy, short copy, long email, short, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's been around probably forever. The point is, it's got to be long enough to make the point. Some people would say short enough to be interesting, but I'm just going to say, make sure you give them enough opportunities to buy if they want to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
And as far as attention goes, people always talk about attention is so short and so short. Yeah, for the general stuff. But you know what? People pay attention to stuff they like.
Yeah, that's true.
Has anybody binge watched anything for 7 or 8 hours in one day? My attention span wasn't short that
definitely
day.
Have. Maybe I do that every day.
Yeah. So you pay attention to the stuff that you like. That's the thing.
For sure.
So don't worry about it being too long.
I agree. Yeah. I got a question over here. It says, I use Clavio, but never send to all list. I do not send to bounce emails and 10 times without open.
Sounds pretty reasonable.
Yeah. I never send it to all lists. So I think that's what you were saying before. It's like you can segment to people that if they haven't opened, then don't send it to them. You're going to get a better delivery rate if you only send it to the people that are opening your emails.
Right. And that's why you got to clean the list. So if you've got a lot of people who aren't opening, aren't doing anything,
right,
download those people into a spreadsheet. And like Jorge said, you can upload that and make a custom audience on Facebook. And then you can delete them out of the system.
Mm-hmm.
You can keep it, keep the file somewhere else if you want, especially if they have bought something from you in the past, but take them out, completely take them out of the system, create the custom audience, and then continue on with the new pruned up and cleaned up list that's going to deliver better rates.
Yep. Yeah, I can't wait until we get to the next sessions, guys, because obviously we can't put everything into one session. I just wanted to review stuff here that kind of like a little bit more of an overview type thing, but we're going to get into like analytics and how do you do split tests and how do you do just like this ninja kind of stuff with Clavio so that you can always continually get better. Maybe you test a short copy versus long copy, and then there's your answer. But because you were talking about earlier, like, make it long, it's fine. But maybe sometimes if you make it short, it works better. So it's like, you never really know until you test things.
That's true.
So,
and sometimes similar to what we talked about, but the layout of the text on the emails, sometimes it's good to vary your emails. The ones you maybe send a long one, then the next one, send a super short one. There's times when in our daily emails, I'll send out, stuff that's 400 or 500 words long. And then the next day it's like one line and a thumbnail,
Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's move on to the next section, which is behavioral emails. So basically it's kind of like what the name's suggesting here. These type of emails are targeted messages that are based on what kind of actions people have taken. And for this type of email, I mean, I have more examples of things that you've written up. So if you want to help me out here. So this is a re-engaged email.
Yeah. So this is, again, like we were talking about earlier, when people have not been engaged and not opening, not clicking for a while, the system, within your system, you set the trigger. Let's say it's 60 days, they're not doing anything. Well, now they get put into a segment or tagged in a way that they get an email, something like this. And you can say things like in the subject line, did I do something wrong? Do you hate me? Are we breaking up? Stuff like that's pretty classic for that type of subject line. And then inside, you can just talk to them. Hey, I know you came to me originally for reasons A, B, or C. And it looks like, for whatever reason, you haven't opened anything here. But now you're thinking, but if they're not opening, why would they open this? Because hopefully you got them with the subject line.
With a good subject line.
But then you can give them a couple of options. Like we've got 2 buttons there to say, look, I want to give you a free gift, especially if it's something that, you've used as other type of lead magnets or even courses sometimes. Give them some. If you got a course for, really, you can give them anything you want.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, no, I think this one might have said something about, hey, normally people only get this if they paid for my $2,000 course, but I'm going to give you it today if you want it.
And if it's for e-commerce, you can offer a coupon. You can offer even something digital, freebie, maybe a recipe book or anything like that. And
then provided they click, now they're re-engaged. They get sent back to a different segment or different list. And now you know something that they're interested in. Like here, if we gave them 2 choices, now we know, okay, they're interested in this one.
Yeah.
Versus this one.
Good point. Yeah, that's a good point. And then you put them on a separate, maybe email sequence that you give them more of that kind of information. Cool. Okay. And then this is the Damon John welcome back re-engagement email.
Right. So this was a version of after what you just saw. It's, 2 different email systems, right? Ours versus Damon's, but the same concept.
Yeah.
So they did re-engage, and then they would receive this email, hey, welcome back. And then as you can see on here, he gives them an opportunity to fill out a different profile so he can collect more information about who they are and what they're into.
Cool. Oh, I was gonna say, do you have any tips on using this preview text, which is basically like a sub headline in the world of like landing pages and stuff like that, right? The subject line could be more of a headline, and then this would be like a sub headline. Or do you use them as like 2 different headlines? Like how do you use those?
Yeah, it's something I've been playing with a little bit. And recently what I've been working with and testing is shorter subject lines.
I agree with that.
Right? Because the subject line, the way most systems are set up, you're only going to see around 40 characters.
Yep.
So if I can keep my subject line to 40 characters or less, that's great. And then I can use the preview line, which in most of these systems can let you go up to 140 characters. So you can get a lot of information in there. So you can use it either as a kind of a preview of what's in the email. You can, that's what it is you're giving them another reason to open besides just the subject line. Because different people use them for different reasons or different ways. And keep this in mind too, if you don't put anything in the subject line, it's going to default to whatever the first line of things in the email is.
In the subject line or the preview text?
Or the preview text.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. So
right. So if the first thing is, hey, first name,
right.
Does it preview,
it'll say, hey, Bob, or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, a lot of times we have an image at the top. So then it'll be like subject line, and then it'll be like image in brackets. And you're like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
And then it'll start the first sentence. So that's another reason. If you're creating your emails, you want to use the, I forget the right term for it. When you have images, you have to label the image or give the image a name. Alt text.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fill out your alt text because that way it makes sense.
Okay, cool. Good tip. Okay. So here is one that we set up for the Natural Slim store. So you can see here, this is a special kind of, what's it called? Transactional, I guess, email or behavioral email. Sorry. That basically when somebody comes to the store, they view your product and then they leave. They didn't add it to cart or anything. That you can set it up in a way that it does trigger an email to these people. Now they have to be on your email list already. So we set it up here. You can see the trigger has a couple of different filters. So first of all, they have to obviously have viewed the product, and that's a product page. So on Shopify, that's any of your products, not but it has to start with /pages, not /product, not / anything else.
Interesting.
Yeah. So like if you do like a zipified page or something, it doesn't detect it because it's not a product there. So there's that. But anyway, so they have to have viewed the product, number one. Number two filter is they checkout started 0 times since starting this flow. So they didn't even start the checkout because that's a whole nother trigger that we have, a whole nother like email series for that.
Right.
And they also placed order 0 times. So obviously if they did purchase, I'm not going to send them this viewed product type of email. So also we set a conditional thing here for just 3 days. So if you've received this in the last 3 days, you're not going to get it again if you come back and you're trying to like shop and stuff like that. So
yeah, I don't have a lot of experience yet in Clavio, but what I have seen of it, I'm really starting to like with the level of segmentation and triggers that you can get with this system seems just amazing.
It is. It's super ninja. That's why I'm excited. Like in the future sessions, we're going to go over even more of these kind of like filters and triggers and things like that. But just to show you guys what's possible, it's like, you know, we wait 10 minutes after they viewed it, and then we send out this email. So it says, did you see something that you were interested in AGM? So right away, oh, and by the way, like you see where I put in the price here. So it'll put the image of the product and the price of how much it is.
Nice.
This is just a preview, so it wouldn't load anything for me, but
right.
And then you can click on the button and come back to, you know, to keep shopping. But basically what we did is we reintroduced the, you know, the in this case, the face of the brand, Frank, and then we introduced some success stories. So again, always reiterating the success people have with our products. Again, for you, maybe that could be, if you don't have success stories yet, let's say, well, that could be reviews. That could be maybe even comments that you see on your ads that people comment some good stuff. Throw those in there as a screenshot, anything that you can use as social proof. And just always like, it's not, because it's like one thing that I learned is always this, if somebody else says it, it's true. But if you're saying it's like, you're just trying to sell me. So
I am the best.
Yeah. Just throw in as much social proof as you can in there, or third-party data to validate what you're saying, you know? So this one's really good. This is one of my favorite, the View product. Really quick. I'm not going to get into it super technical in this session, but just because I brought it up, I want to show you how to do it if you haven't set this up. If you already have Clavio installed in your Shopify store, there's 2 ways to install this you know, feature. One, when you first install the app, it should take you through, like the wizard should have taken you through all of this already. So if you go to your integrations, this is the main menu here on the left. And then on the vertical left menu, you'll see it says integrations. If you click on that, and if you want to check if you already have it installed, you'll go to the enabled integrations. But if you don't, then you can just search for Shopify, and then you'll see it there. And then all you got to do is type in your store name, and then it's going to take you to your store, and you just install the app and do the integration there. So it's super simple. It'll like, the system will walk you through it. So I want to show you guys how to do that if you haven't done it yet, because the abandoned, the abandoned browse is what it's called. That's one of the hottest emails that we have set up.
Yeah, that's a pretty ninja level trick.
All right, guys. So those are the type of emails that we went over. Now, how to get started with email marketing is, and here's some, you know, steps that we wanted to share with you. You can take a screenshot of this, or of course, we always share the, you know, the slides with you guys. But obviously, step number 1 is you want to establish your goals. Like what are your company goals, your brand goals? Like maybe even you have a goal of like how big you want your list to be. Keep in mind, a rule of thumb that I always use is 20%. So if 20% of people open your emails, how big does your email list have to be for you to like kind of reach your goals, you know? And then once you start actually doing this, like I've been able to see now that if I sent out, I think it was, I have this written down, but I know like this last sale that we did, we sent out an email blast, and it was like 60,000 people, I believe.
Okay.
And I know that we brought in, let's say it was $10,000 from that. And I know exactly what the percentage of open rates and stuff like that was. So now I'm like, okay, well, if I did 10x that, then I would get to, you know, 100,000.
Right.
So now I have a goal of like how many people I need to bring into my email list, and now build your list. So We've gone over some ninja strategies in the past of like how to build your list with lead magnets and things like that. Rain, if you happen to be here, I think you are. If you want to, if you know what session that Jonald and Manuel went over, lead magnets and that whole strategy, and we have a bunch of examples, you guys should watch that session. And that's all about like building your list. And then step number 3, you want to consider your content that you're going to put out. We just gave you guys a bunch of examples on that. And then you just want to start creating your campaigns from there. And then part of that is going to be, you know, tweaking and optimizing and testing different things and different lengths and messages and emojis and no emojis. There's a lot of testing that obviously is going to go into that, right? So you can track your results and you can see, you know, how to optimize things along the way.
Yeah, and that sounds a little bit like what was it Chung who asked earlier about the automations or
yes.
something? Yeah, so that's going to be where step 4 comes in, is creating that campaign. But you know, step 3 is going to be that whole prior piece. You can lay out the entire everything you want to automate. Just lay it out on paper first, and then we can figure out how to get it into the system.
I'm a big fan of that, like visualizing and do a mind map and kind of say, okay, well,
absolutely.
If they, you know, abandon the cart, what am I going to say? Well, here's email number 1, email number 2, email number 3, and what do I want to say in each one? Just kind of visualize it, and then you can start building it out. If they are new to my brand, well, what do I want to say in these welcome emails? You know, we gave you guys a couple of examples, but, you know, writing it down and kind of planning it out on paper, to some people, it works really well. So you also have obviously like mind map softwares and things like that if you don't want to write it down, but definitely plan it out.
Yeah,
that's
most
sure.
Definitely.
All right. So I'm going to take you guys through how to set up your Clavio account if you haven't yet. I know a lot of you guys, actually, I'm curious, which one of you guys on the call today is already using Clavio? And then somebody else had said, while you guys are letting me know, you can use benefits if you don't have success stories. Yeah. That's what we were saying.
And I'll tell you what, I'll give you another secret of copywriting. Don't stop at the benefit. What's the benefit of the benefit? Right. So now you get, what are they?
Like the Matrix.
Yeah. The kids call it meta. You get all meta. And you go to the benefit of the benefit of the benefit of the benefit, right? So you can go pretty deep. And here's the problem. Here's why most people don't do it. It takes work.
Yeah, that is true. You got to research and you got to, you know, test and yeah.
Now that's not to say that flying by the seat of your pants can't work sometimes, but
you know your brand pretty well, right? It's your brand. So you should have an idea of what your customers need and want and what are their pain points. And if not, you know, back to competition research, as we always say, like that's an ongoing thing.
Right. And I'll say one more thing while you're looking for that answer is on the previous steps there. I think step 5, it was about a schedule. Is that right? Make a schedule. Yeah. So listen, don't commit to something that you can't do or that you don't feel comfortable doing. If you think writing an email every day is too much, then don't do it. Don't do it because we did it. Do what's right for you and your brand. Okay. So if that's once a week, it's once a week.
Yeah.
You know, I probably wouldn't go less than once a week.
One is better than 0.
Yeah. But you know, if you just want to send once a month, dude, that's on you.
Yeah.
You know,
and yeah, I mean, and that goes with, just keep in mind, like Manuel always talks about, like when like customers ask us, well, how fast can you get me there to my goal?
Yeah.
Well, how much do you want to spend? And like, how
bad do you
want
it?
They always ask us like, well, how much do I have to spend? Like, well, how fast do you want to get there?
Yeah.
You know, the more you do, the faster you're going to get there, the more data you're going to have to optimize with and stuff like that. But to your point, don't go crazy that you can't then just keep up with this.
Right.
Like do what you can do and then keep adding to it.
Especially if you're just getting started with this. And if you're a solopreneur or you're running a small business, you don't have a big team, you know, and it's on you to write and send the emails, and you probably have a lot of other stuff to do already. So keep it as easy as possible.
Yeah. 100%. So
let's be consistent.
Yes. Let's go through these steps here, guys, and then we'll end off for today. But I wanted to show you how to set it up if you haven't set it up yet. And I had to do with the screenshots because just in case, if I didn't have it loading on while I was live or whatever. So I'll just go through the screenshots here. But if you have any questions, let me know, and we'll help you out. So the initial setup. So in order to progress through the Clavio setup process, you're gonna have to make a note that you're not gonna be able to return to edit this particular tab once you complete the setup wizard. And any updates that you would like to make after initially running through must be made in your account settings. So that's referencing a little bit of what I was talking about before. You have the wizard, and if not, you're going to have to do things on the back end in the settings. But just go through the wizard, and it's super easy. Like the wizard walks you through it, but let's go through it right now. You're going to have to add your business details, like, your website, your business type, and some of this information, it doesn't even really matter, because it's kind of like when you set up a Facebook page, it's like they ask you, oh, are you a brand, or are you in this industry, that industry?
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to run ads. It doesn't, it doesn't matter, but
just need a business page, man.
Try to be accurate if you want. It's not going to make or break the deal, I guess is what I'm trying to tell you. Like, it's not going to affect anything, but of course, except for your website, you do want to put that correct information there. Okay, so then you're going to connect your platform. So when you click continue, you're going to be prompted to connect your integration to your Clavio, to your Shopify store. You're going to add your brand information. So this is what's going to be in the footer of all of your emails. So yeah, you want to be accurate with this. Some people I believe they didn't let you put in a PO box before, so I don't know if that changed anymore. So it used to be required that you have to have your regular business address. Yeah. And a lot of people just have their home address.
Yep.
So a lot of people don't want to put that. So if it lets you put in your PO box, I don't know if it's already updated for that or not, but if not, another tip I can give you is you can open up a virtual office if you really don't want to put in your home office information for your business.
I don't know exactly what a virtual office is. I was thinking like the UPS store where you can get like the little, is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah, kind of like that. That's a good question. I should clarify. You can, Mr. Google has all the answers, right? So you just
get on the interwebs, children.
Get on the interwebs and type in virtual office near me or whatever. But it's essentially, it's like office buildings that you pay for them.
Oh, right on. Yeah, I actually did that once.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Well, there you go. So what are you saying? You don't know?
I don't think we called it that. That's all.
Well, that's what it is. It's a virtual office in the sense that it's not you're not paying like a lease or like we do here or whatever, right? But you still have the address of the building, and you can actually still receive correspondence there and stuff like that, and you can go pick it up or whatever. So anyways, I think we got sidetracked there. The point is that you put in your business information and just kind of go through step by step with the wizard here, and it'll help you fill out all the required information that it's asking you for. And then once you're done with that, the first step is that you get into the design tab here, which is going to edit like all of your brand information so that you can create templates in the future. So it'll ask you for like your color scheme, like it shows here. If you don't know your exact color coding and stuff like that, like you're like, I'm not at that level yet or anything like that, don't obviously worry about it. Just kind of get it as close as you can. But if you have a particular font, you can choose that here. One thing I'll tell you is they don't have every font. I've already ran into that with some of my customers from the agency that, they're like, well, this is my font and this is, what my brand guide shows, but Clavio doesn't have that. So one thing we did to work around that, by the way, I'll give you a tip, is that we just made images like in Canva, or our graphics design team would make images with their font, and then we would create the emails with just images.
There you go.
Yeah. But you don't have to go all that far. Just pick your font that, best suits your brand. Maybe if it's playful or if it's more serious or whatever it is, upload your logo and all that good stuff, and you're good to go.
Sweet.
Yeah. Your header and your social links. So you always want to be including your Facebook and all your social media platform links, because people do click that, and then you can end up with more subscribers or followers or whatever. But also they click it because they want to see, like, is this a real brand? Do they have, are they even posting? Do they put up, maybe customer testimonials and things like that, that they're still not convinced of purchasing your products, so they go and they click on your social media.
Yeah, and if you haven't
platforms.
posted in the 2 years,
Yeah,
you're probably shooting yourself in the foot.
For sure. That's definitely part of it, guys. We've talked about that, and you want to be constantly just keeping your accounts alive, and just post your ads. Even if you're running ads, post them as organic content too. Don't leave them as just a dark post that only the ads people see. Post it on your accounts. Or just super easy too, just post your reviews. If somebody leaves you a review, man, take a screenshot and post it on your social account.
You want to get super crazy?
Yes.
If you're writing emails on a regular basis,
mm-hmm.
Copy and paste some of your emails into your Facebook post.
There you go.
Or vice versa.
Yeah, exactly. Good. All right. And then you basically just have to confirm your email once you get to the end here, so that they send you a code to your email, and then you just confirm it and you are done setting up your Clavio account. It's super easy, guys, especially if you follow the wizard. There's nothing to it. Just takes you step by step. The first thing that we'd recommend, of course, is creating a new list. And the wording here, just to clarify, different email systems use different words for the same thing, or for for the opposite things, I should say. Like in here, we have flows, which is kind of like a broadcast. Or it's more like a sequence of things. And a campaign is a broadcast. Like in ManyChat, you know how you can broadcast? Well, over here, they call it campaign.
Great. That's not confusing at all.
So but you want to create a list, and again, going back to what I was saying, like in Clavio, they call it segmenting. In other places, they call it tagging, right? I think Keep calls it tagging.
Yeah, Keep calls it tagging. So I've run into this terminology barrier with people within the agency, where they talk to me like, oh, send this list or send this thing. I'm like, look, man, our system doesn't have that the way you're describing it.
Yep.
I believe you mean this, right? Yep. Yeah, that's what I mean. Okay, great.
Exactly. So you want to create your first list and your segmentation and all that. So you go to, like it says here, click create list segment in the upper right-hand corner. And then you're going to choose to create a new list and give it a name. So that depends on what it is. If you are going to maybe import your ManyChat emails into over here, well, then obviously name it ManyChat. If you're going to do, let's say, a welcome series like we've shown you, and you're getting people to opt in on your Clavio, on your Shopify store, and you're going to put them in there to start off, then, just name it something kind of like a naming convention that we've shown you for your ads, something that makes sense, that anybody that's going to help you with this in the future as you grow is going to be easily identify, what list that is. All right. So let's see if we have any questions. 1 second, let me stop this here.
I can see the one over there from Chong. Is Clavio used, was it only for e-commerce or for more than e-commerce?
Use more. Is it used
more for e-commerce?
Yes, it's used mostly for e-commerce. That's what they're made to integrate with Shopify. That being said, it doesn't have to be just that. You can use it for other stuff.
I think from what I've seen so far with the Clavio, one of the great things and why it works so well for e-commerce, well, they designed it specifically for e-commerce, I believe, right?
Yep.
But that you can have that integration with your store, and you just drag and drop little pieces in, and it'll automatically fill in, this is the product, this is the price, and stuff like that. Makes it great for a product-based e-commerce. Yeah. But really, there's no reason you can't use it for info products or clothing or anything else. Well, clothing is regular e-commerce stuff anyway, but even if it's information that you're selling in courses, you could still, as far as I can tell, use it for the exact same purpose, provided that, again, you want to use it with a system that has a nice integration, something like Shopify, or I don't know what other systems they integrate with, but I imagine it's more than that one. And yeah, man. Yeah. Like you said, make your plan, set your goals, and then make the software work for you.
Exactly. Let's see what else we got in here. Somebody had a question about flows in Clavio. So that's basically like a in ManyChat. I keep relating to that because I know a lot of you guys on the call are familiar and use ManyChat. So you know how you have a sequence of an automated, under automations, there's sequence, and you can set up different emails to go, one after the other. So that's the same thing with flow. And you can also add in, like I was showing you the binary thing. Well, if they bought, then don't do this. If they add it to cart, then send them this email or whatever. So you can create those kind of like rules with it.
We also use in the Keep. One of the things that we do is we have specific tags that will show the journey of the contact as it goes through a campaign. So we will initiate as soon as they start the campaign, or you'll, for us, a lot of times what I do is I have a tag that says start campaign, start campaign A. And that is what grabs the contact out of the system and puts them in the flow, into the sequence. And the next thing that happens is I actually remove the start tag and put a tag that says in campaign A. So now, as long as, whether that's 3 emails, 5, 10, 15, whatever it is, as long as they're inside that email campaign or that sequence, they've got that tag that says in. So if I need to send out a different broadcast, I can exclude people who are inside campaign A.
I like that.
That way you don't overlap stuff too much.
I like that. That's similar to what we've always shown with mini chat and the tagging and segmenting and things like that. You got to think ahead sometimes when you're using these tags, right? So you can know what you're going to do.
Oh, we've been asked before.
Shun likes that tip. He says that's a great tip. Yes. But the bottom line, guys, is moving forward, you got to pay attention more to email marketing. Build up your lists like we've shown before. I think Rain put in here the session where we talk about creating lead magnets is found under December 23rd, 2020. Pretty sure that was John Old and Manuel that showed you guys that and broke it down on examples of lead magnets, how to create your lead magnet, and even, how that integrates with ManyChat and building up your emails and things like that. Just super ninja. Definitely go watch it.
And I'll give you 3 quick things to think about from reports about email marketing and its importance. One, if you do some quick research, most of the reports show over the last few years that email marketing, as long as you're making offers at some point, has about a 40-ish to 1 return ratio.
Wow.
Okay. Another one, there's philosophies, I'll call it, that say you should ideally make at least $1 per month.
I've heard that
per
too.
Contact.
Yeah.
And if you're not, then you may want to reevaluate what you're doing. And then the one I saw recently from everybody's buddy Ezra Firestone, said something like, if 30% of your revenue is not coming from email, then you're missing the boat.
Boom. So get on it, guys. Get on it. Grow your list. Let's start making some money with Clavio, recovering the money that people are abandoning in your carts. Let's see if we have anything else before we sign off. Jesus said tag equals start, remove tag equals campaign A.
So to initiate, here's a quick layout of it. So to initiate the campaign sequence, I would give a person a start tag. So we're going to pretend it's called campaign A. So I say start campaign A.
Yeah.
And when I apply that, whether I apply it manually or it gets applied automatically, it takes that contact and puts them into the campaign. And then the next step, I remove the start tag and apply an in campaign A tag. And that tag stays intact until either they complete the campaign or until they buy something. And if they go all the way through the emails and they don't buy anything, then at the end, I remove the in campaign A and apply a completed campaign A. That way, again, I know the journey of these contacts and what they've been through, what they've seen, so that we can more intelligently talk to them later on.
Well, if you guys are using Clavio more than Keep, like Jesus, then you would have that data because Clavio is super smart.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that tagging. That's the cool thing. It's like it'll automatically drop them into different flows and move them in and out and stuff like that. So you'll know.
Nice.
And it also, and I'm going to show you guys all this in future sessions, right? But every customer, you'll be able to see where they've been along the journey of your email marketing and how much money they've brought back and things like that. You can break it down.
Yeah.
That's why I love Clavio.
I tell you, Infusionsoft / Keep is a very robust system and can do a lot of things, but they've been around so long, they're actually playing catch up now to some of the more recent systems.
Yeah.
So
But hey, I mean, we wanted to talk about everything because you guys, some of you still using Keep like us. Some of a lot of us here are Shopify people, so that's why I want to dive into Clavio a lot. But the same philosophies and concepts and everything that we talked about, it still applies to MailChimp and Active Campaign and Aweber and pretty much anything else that you use, even ManyChat and things like that. So that's it for today, guys. We wanted to go over here and give you the good thorough overview of everything, but we're going to break it down even further in future campaigns, or I'm sorry, future sessions. And maybe we'll invite Jesus back. I thought it was super helpful.
Write in and tell him you want me to come back.
Yeah, request Jesus. Get rid of the coach. Just bring Jesus.
I better be careful. Next thing, I'll be doing these every week.
Exactly. All right, guys. Thanks for showing up, and we will see you next week.